Hi guys, this is Dr. Farhan. I hope you guys are doing amazing. Like always, it's such an honor to connect with you. Today, I want to talk about how to show up for yourself when others don't show up for themselves. How to show up for yourself when others don't show up for themselves. Number one, when they don't show up for themselves, remind yourself that it's important that you do not let it fester. Don't let it fester. I know you want to help. I know you want to make it better. But if this is God's way of teaching them something, it's important that you stay in your lane. It's important to remind yourself to stay in your lane. Next, ask yourself, why should I exhaust myself by getting angry? Why should I exhaust myself by getting angry? Often, many of us get very angry when loved ones don't show up for themselves, right? Or loved ones engage in unconscious behavior. It's important for you to remember that, hey, this is an unaware, injured person or unaware, unconscious person. This is why they respond or react that way. This is why they respond or react that way. It could be a trauma at play, a trigger at play. Yes, you understand all that. Of course, you're aware of it. But then it's important to not enable it. It's important to not basically absorb it. So the goal is to ask yourself, how am I reacting and holding that person accountable at the same time? How am I reacting and holding the person accountable at the same time? Right? So yes, you know their trauma and you have compassion for it, but that's not an excuse for them to behave the way they are. Behave the way they are behaving. So hold the person accountable. Remind yourself that they're choosing to be in a victim state. They're choosing to somewhat make it part of their personality. And you don't have to go through it with them all the time. You don't have to take whatever they're dishing out, right? When they're in those states of unconscious mode, right? When they're in those unconscious modes. So remind yourself like, hey, I don't have to go through it with them. Like, yeah, just because you didn't do what you needed to do, you didn't meditate, you didn't exercise, whatever you needed to get yourself regulated, it doesn't mean that that's okay. So this is how you hold them accountable. And this is something that you can say to them. I understand you're upset, but you need to fix your tone. I won't subject myself to it. That's just one statement you can use. Or you can say, I understand you're upset, but I don't like the way you're speaking to me right now. I'm going to go do something else, right? So just simple techniques that you can use when loved ones are not showing up for themselves. Right? Remind yourself that you're not chasing after grown adults, right? You don't have to get mad, right? Remind yourself that you didn't do anything wrong, right? So that's when you become more accepting of others' shortcomings. When you step back and realize that, wait. This is not a me problem. This is a them problem, a situation that they're going through. And another thing that you want to realize is that it's important to be vocal about it, right? Many individuals, especially if you struggle with codependent tendencies, you struggle with being vocal. And sometimes being vocal becomes a trauma response. Like it becomes basically a trauma vocal bonding. What do I mean by trauma vocal bonding? Basically, it's you're being vocal with a lot of emotions because that voice was taken away from you when you were a child. So when situations happen, it becomes like, wait, that you turn into that 6-year-old self or that 7-year-old self when you were shunned away or your voice was basically taken away. You couldn't speak up for whatever reasons. So when you do speak up as an adult, what ends up happening is when you do express yourself, it comes off very, very in an aggressive manner. It's either too passive or too aggressive, right? So you as the conscious loved one has to really separate how you're going to be vocal, right? Are you being vocal in an intelligent manner, in a healthy manner, or is this coming from trauma vocal bonding, right? Where it's coming from that 6-year-old voice that, hey, how could you do this to me? Why this, and it's filled with resent and anger and letdown and all of those feelings. So separating yourself, right? And then telling yourself like, wait, I'm going to address this, but in a healthy manner. And then also choosing when you want to be vocal and when you don't want to be vocal. When loved ones don't show up for themselves, right? Sometimes setting a boundary is just walking away, right? You don't always have to vocalize it every time. So those who want to hear, you remind yourself that those who want to hear me will come and reach out, right? Not here to address, if they're not ready to address anything, that's fine. I'll distance myself. So having those action plans in place. Remind yourself that you need to protect your peace. Remind yourself that you always have to, you want to be, if you're going to be conscious and self-regulated, you're going to ask yourself, how will I react? Right? Can I be vocal without the trauma? Can I be vocal without the trauma? Just communicating things clearly and simply. And that's it. All right, guys. I hope this was helpful. You guys are amazing. You guys rock. Really, really reflect on what I just, talked about. Again, how to show up for yourself when others don't show up for themselves. Biggest key here, don't let it fester. Don't let it fester. And the second important fact is really, really reevaluate your trauma vocal bonding. Are you being vocal in a healthy way or in a passive-aggressive way? And how do you decipher between the two and heal from the trauma of being vocal or not vocal and segueing into healthy communication? All right, take care of yourself. Bye.